My dear friends and stepsisters, if you are a Bethesda fan, I have some horrible, devastating stepmom got unstuck from the washing machine tier of bad news for you. The rumor currently is that there is not one Fallout game currently in development by Bethesda, but multiple. One is already bad enough, multiple is absolute devastation. For the last 20 years, at least, Bethesda has not done anything right. They are an absolute shit show disaster. The Midas touch that they previously had, turning things into gold, is now replaced with the slop touch, the shit touch. Call it whatever you want, but it is bad. And the fact that it's not just one game, but multiple potentially Fallout games being in development currently is even worse because you know that they're just trying to strike the anvil hot while the Fallout TV show is still at least somewhat relevant, even though Season 2 is gonna kill all the hype, trust me. Okay? But yeah, this is bad. This is very bad. If you are a true Bethesda game fan, not Bethesda the studio, but Bethesda game fan, you know in general that this is bad news because currently the best course of action for all the Bethesda games is sell them off to literally no one cares what studio, but let goddamn Tencent make it for all I care at this point. We have a better shot at getting something good, okay? Sell it to whoever the hell wants it, except Obsidian, because Obsidian is also a complete dumpster tier currently, and has been since after Fallout New Vegas. And, well, let anyone make those games except Bethesda and Obsidian. That's the best course of action. Because keep in mind, some people are currently going to say, oh, but Bethesda's not actually going to make these games. They're going to just contract other studios to make them. Yeah, and then it's going to be the Redfall 2.0 situation. Redfall was a disaster. I'm not even sure if people know what Redfall is at this point, but it was also the newest game before Starfield, or was it after Starfield? But whatever. And the thing is, Redfall was not actually made by Bethesda Studios, but Bethesda had 100% full parental control enabled, and not a single decision that went into Redfall, the design, the classes, the guns, the everything, was made without explicitly Bethesda saying, yes, this is what we want. So, Redfall is 100% Bethesda's failure. 100%. And if some other outside studio except Bethesda gets to work on, well, Bethesda IP, we know that Bethesda is going to do full oversight over it. Okay? Todd is going to be there, and Emil Retard Loser Pagliaruno is probably also going to be there looking at the story and making sure that it's gay, stupid, trash as possible. Okay? Not even necessarily in that order. He's just gonna make it sure it's bad. And so will Todd. So anything that is currently being made Fallout or Elder Scrolls or whatever by Bethesda, I think is gonna be a disaster. And things are getting worse.
Well, this feels like a cruel joke. I'm out here stomping out Xbox, and there's a report. Multiple Fallout games in production. That's twisted, dude. Okay, so yeah, obviously that's the good news. Lots of Fallout is on the way. I'll get into why that's the case. But yeah, pumped to know more of my favorite gaming franchise is inbound. Hopefully it's good. The twist,
Hopefully.
It's complicated. And I'm not even saying that to put a little negative spin on it. It just is. Emotionally, given recent events with Xbox, it's obviously really complicated to feel excited about anything right now involving the brand. But also, it's a bit complicated knowing the potential trade-off. There have been rumors floating around that some of the budget that's being cut from all these various games over at Xbox were used to shift it over to Fallout. And if that's the case, as much as I adore Fallout, I don't think companies like ZeniMax Online Studios need to trade in their rights to make a new IP for a new Fallout game, especially when that's like indie publisher energy, and that's certainly not what Xbox is. So it feels...
Literally don't care, by the way.
Weird and wrong to be like, oh,
I'm just, by the way, sitting here patiently waiting until Fabled gets canned.
Out of my seat, yeah, more Fallout, and frankly, tone deaf. but I still want to talk about it because this is my favorite gaming franchise. I have talked about Fallout.
I'll be real, okay? 100 indie games get canceled and we get one even remotely decent Fallout? Sign me in! Here's a vote, here's another vote, goddamn. Okay? 100% I'm in. The reality is, by the way, this is something we do forget. AAA is garbage and it's gonna get replaced by AA, but you still need to remember, for every good indie game that comes out, there's literally 100,000 complete shit tier indie games that were right next to it. Just a small reminder.
Fallout since day one on this channel. It's extremely important to me, and I'll always talk about my beloved Bethesda Game Studios. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the report. Starts off at Insider Gaming. Multiple Fallout projects are in development, it is claimed. In the recent episode of the Friends Per Second podcast, VGC's Jordan Midler claimed several Fallout games are being pieced together. Quote, Fallout is the big one. I cannot believe that they didn't immediately start work on a Fallout 5, you and I both. There are multiple Fallout projects in development, including, as far as I'm aware, the one you're all wanting, but it's not far enough along to say anything that's like, you're going to be playing this game anytime soon.
Wait, so what is the one that we all want? Fallout 5, or is this guy gonna pull a Blizzard and say, a Fallout, but on mobile?
Soon, end quote. Here's a funny butterfly effect moment, right? So SkillUp reaches out to me before the Fallout news breaks, and he's like, hey, we'd love to have you on the show. Your expertise would be really appreciated here, which was really awesome of him. I had COVID, so I could not make the show because I also had Defining Duke, and I would have been back-to-back podcasting while on COVID, so I was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So there's this weird butterfly effect moment where if I showed up...
Wait, what? You got that? I mean, who the hell gets it nowadays?
I would not have learned this much about my favorite gaming franchise, and I find that deeply hilarious. At the same time, there is something Jordan says before I get into the full report and some thoughts on it that stands out to me. It is why we had to wait this long. There is that big question mark floating over all of this. And I'm not trying to turn this whole video into Xbox bad. I'll talk about Fallout in a moment here, but it
Xbox is bad. Don't you worry about that. No one's doubting that part.
Is the big question. Like, they bought Bethesda in 2021. As far as I'm concerned, I was deeply convinced, oh, they're going to greenlight Fallout like that. That is an instant.
To be fair, same. To be absolutely fair, I also thought that's going to be instantaneous. But it seems like what actually Xbox did was like, okay, we bought this studio because we think it's going to do great. Okay? They sold Skyrim, anniversary, birthday, second grandchild, stepsister, Taco Tuesday, Monday, McDonald's version 500 times already. They know what's up. And then Microsoft is currently thinking, holy shit, did we pay $8 billion for goddamn Starfield? Are we idiots? Are we the idiots? Yeah, so now Microsoft is rushing Bethesda along a lot. You can see it in Todd Howard's face that he's not happy with things.
Instantaneous thing you have to do. Of course, Starfield is really
not that someone short will ever find happiness.
Important, but you gotta outsource that puppy. Like, that is your IP. You gotta go. You just spent $7.5 billion on Bethesda. Fallout's the most lucrative IP you got in that batch right next to Elder Scrolls. You gotta make use of it. The fact that it took this long, and it's not even like we're getting something this year or next year, like, it's a while before we see anything new that's not a Fallout TV show. And that is a bit disheartening because it should never.
God, look at this. What the hell is... Oh, this is the thing. Didn't they cancel this? I kind of remember it. Didn't they get rid of this crap?
Have played out like this. Same, by the way, Elder Scrolls fans, you know I keep you in mind when I'm talking about my Fallout. Same with Elder Scrolls. Why there's nothing until ES6, but fortunately we did get Oblivion remastered, but before...
Again, okay, so just to reiterate, I have already said how I think this is going to happen, especially with the success of the Oblivion remaster. This is how it's going to be. Next up is going to be like a Fallout 3 remake or something like that. After that, there's going to be like a Morrowind or whatever remake. And after that, there's going to be a Fallout 4 remake. Because Todd Howard is going to do everything he can in his little grubby midget hands to make it so that New Vegas never gets the recognition it deserves. Even though I mean, I made a poll about this. What do you want more, Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas? To my surprise, actually, 25% of people said Fallout 3. That's more than I expected. But still, obviously, if we're gonna make a Fallout remake, the remake that everyone wants in general is New Vegas. Okay? Fallout 3 is obviously the second one, but it's New Vegas first. But Todd Howard cannot let New Vegas succeed. Todd Howard is gonna put on a self-deletion Minecraft vest before he and go to go knocking on Microsoft's doorstep before he lets New Vegas be remade. Okay, New Vegas is the greatest blemish on. Well, now it's Starfield, honestly. Oh, but New Vegas was the biggest blemish on Todd Howard's soul. Okay, if he has one, honestly. In any case. This is what happened. Todd Howard buys the people who made Fallout. He says, Tin Cane, go kick dirt because you're an old loser. Okay, when he was young, he was already an old loser. Tim Kane's insane, by the way. If you think I'm being bad towards Tim Kane, you have not seen that guy. He's completely a wacko. And then, Todd Howard makes Fallout 3, his magnus opus, okay? The gem to outshine everything, the cat's eye diamond of the century. And then a bunch of losers at Obsidian, probably hooked on meth, make Fallout New Vegas, and it completely destroys Fallout 3. It is the best thing that has ever happened in Fallout history, and Toddy Boy is not even responsible for it. And so he does everything to destroy it, to bury it, because that is his greatest besmirchment, okay? And then he makes Starfield, and it's even worse. That's what you get for being born short, Todd, okay?
That with Bethesda and how they were handling things, like, here's Elder Scrolls Legends. Come on, you know it's not what we wanted. So hopefully a sign of things changing.
I don't know. When we talk about what we wanted, I say, yes, I wanted this.
So hopefully a sign of things changing with Oblivion Remastered. But what are these multiple Fallout projects in development? Of course, you see here the mentioning of the one you're all wanting, and there's been jokes about Fallout Shelter 2, but of course this is New Vegas 2 with the
Fallout Shelter 2 is most likely happening before New Vegas anything. Okay? If anything New Vegas related is gonna be greenlit, either Todd Howard is gonna try and sabotage it. No, seriously, Todd Howard is gonna try and sabotage anything New Vegas related. If it ever gets greenlit. And if it gets greenlit in the first race, Microsoft probably will have to hold Todd Howard's goddamn progeny as hostages at force multiplier point, okay? And even then, Todd Howard is gonna be, do it, you pussies! I'm never allowing New Vegas to happen. It's gonna. Microsoft does not want to lose Todd Howard because Todd Howard is kind of the face of Bethesda. If Todd Howard goes, Bethesda probably like instantaneously dips 20% in everyone's estimations. So they can't really lose him. But I mean, they don't really probably want him at this point.
Obsidian, and we'll talk about that extensively. I have my list of theories and breakdowns on why it's plausible. Don't you worry. Before we get there, though, there's a little bit more from Insider Gaming. They say, in some ways, it's a reiteration of what we've been led to believe, and what I've outlined above. It's a relatively safe bet to say that multiple Fallout projects are, at the very least, planned. I heard from Bethesda Game Studios' John Rush and Bill Lacoste at Summer Games Fest that there are stacks of ideas for Fallout games, but they wouldn't share anything with me. So at Summer Games Fest, they were showing off 76. Gotta wonder what's going on there. I remember when I interviewed Todd, he did mention
76 is collapsing once again. Players are just again leaving, and it's again gonna be pushed into irrelevance.
That, like, if they had a small Fallout game idea, they try to roll it in the 76, which I was like, what? No, bad, Todd, bad idea. Okay, but yeah, no doubt we're gonna get more 76 updates. You can check that off the list. I hope as part of this, man, like seeing what they're doing with like Neverwinter Nights and all these old CRPGs, PC games.
This is Neverwinter Nights, The one that no one liked. I think this was 3.
Seeing what they're doing with like Neverwinter Nights and all these old CRPGs, PC games coming to consoles, coming to new
Well, at least not a lot of people liked.
audiences. I know Todd shut it down when I asked him about it. I get it, but if there is a way, and I know, unfortunately, as Tim Kaine revealed, like the original code is gone. I think one person does still have it, but if we could find a way to bring back Fallout 1 and 2 and just have the modern audience experience it. It doesn't even have to be perfect, but these games, look, I'm the first to say I started with Fallout 3. I was late to the parade. Didn't even know Fallout 1 and 2 were connected to the series because they looked so far apart from what Fallout 3 was when I played it in like middle school. I was like, what? This isn't Fallout. This is some other franchise. Like I remember being deeply convinced of that until I played them myself eventually, and I was like, these are excellent video games. So I hope part of the plan is that, as I've mentioned many times before, one way we can do the little bit of stop gaps for Fallout content as we wait for new video games made from the ground up are these remasters and these re-releases. And no doubt that's part of the plan, as we'll talk about. But first, I want to talk about Fallout 5. That's the other monkey wrench in this whole thing. Now, if we had a Bethesda Game Studios way, I love them dearly, but if we had a Bethesda Game Studios way, we wouldn't be getting Fallout 5 until like Todd Howard's 80 years old. Bethesda has an idea for Fallout 5, according to IGN, but don't expect it for many years. When asked about New Vegas 2,
this has been the story for how long already, by the way? Oh, yeah, Fallout, but there's nothing really
being handled by another company, Todd said the following, quote, I don't see, look, Fallout's really a part of our DNA here. We've worked with other people from time to time. I can't say what's going to happen, but, you know, we have a one-pager on Fallout 5, what we want to do. And they said this is coming after Elder Scrolls 6. So we know the timeline for Bethesda Game Studios was Starfield, then Elder Scrolls 6, then Fallout 5. So Bethesda has planted their flags.
If you show me that leaked, yeah, there it is. God damn it, I hate this so much.
Saying this is our game and that's what we're doing next. But again, with leadership changes and now like wringing that puppy dry, trying to get money anywhere you can, mega hits only, Fallout 5 should probably be moved up the timeline, and understandably so. Look, with the way modern game development is going, if we get like Elder Scrolls 6 by like 2027 and then we move into Fallout 5 after that, we're not getting Fallout 5 until 2032. And at that point, between mainline entries of the Fallout franchise, if you're looking at Fallout 4, sorry, 76, gotta ignore you for a second, but you're looking at Fallout 4 and then the next numbered entry, Fallout 5, you're talking close to 20 years. Unacceptable every day of the week. So yeah, Fallout 5 or something has to get moved up. If Fallout 5 is gonna be that deep, something has to happen, and soon. So of course, what that is one of the most leaked projects involving the Fallout IP, and that is the Fallout 3 remaster. So when the documents from Bethesda leaked during the FTC case, we did learn the plan for fiscal year 24 was the Fallout 3 remaster. And since then, insiders like Nate the Hate have confirmed this is the next project over.
Sock puppet accounts and not real things, okay? Nate the Hate is an industry plant, 100%.
We're at Virtuos, but it would also be a long while before we ever saw it. And given what we saw with the Oblivion remaster, you know, launch bugs and stability issues aside, I'm very excited to see what that Fallout 3 remaster is going to be like stupidly excited just from a gameplay perspective, what little changes they're going to make. It's one of my favorite games of all time, so I'll be all over that thing, man. But looking at this timeline here, as I've covered multiple times before, everything on this list got bumped back 2 years. Everything from Starfield to Indiana Jones.
Okay. Let me explain this list again, because some people are stupid! God, I hate this, okay? Let me explain. Okay, this is how this list functions. It's very simple, actually. So, you got this section right here. And this is years. Like, let's say, this is 1 year, this is 2 year, 3, and whatever, okay? And then you have categories where these years can go. So, it can go here, this is T, this is toilet, or this could be like some Bethesda game. Bethesda Game Studios game, okay? These are the options, okay? So, you have a random year here. Let's say, for example, 2023. Where is this magical year gonna go? Is it gonna go into the toilet? No. It's gonna be assigned to a random Bethesda game. That's right. That's how these things work. Then we have the second one. Let's say this is 2025. Okay, where does this go? Oh, that's right. It gets assigned to a random Bethesda game once again. You see, the problem here is this is just an illusion. This whole FTC list is just an illusion because the reality is these years can only go to games, and these games in turn can only go to years, okay? And when we're talking about Bethesda Game Studio that literally has, well, it has like Doom, it has Fallout, it has Elder Scrolls, right? You only have like a couple of games that can be assigned to any year, so you're probably always going to be right. You're probably always going to be in the ballpark of when a year correlates to a game. You're never going to be like 4 or 5 years off, probably. And that is the whole thing of the FTC of the FTC list, aka this thing. It's completely wrong, but people don't understand the fallacy of simplicity. Because it looks so simple, you always think it's right, but there's almost no chance it can be wrong, okay? Doom Eternal DLC, maybe it's like a 1 year later. People still are gonna say, well, it's really close and accurate. Yeah, it's as accurate as Nate the Hate's prediction. Oh, Bethesda is gonna make a new Fallout game. They're gonna remake something, and then, in the next 10 years it gets remade, and someone's like, oh, he was right. God, this is so stupid. I hate when people bring up this thing. It's a fallacy. This is no longer trustable stuff. And by the way, even if you move all of these things like 2 years, there's still things that are actually off. It's not true that all of these things are exactly 2 years off, by the way. That's the best part, even.
Everything, even the Starfield DLC, got bumped back 2 years. In 2024, we're supposed to get Fallout 3 Remaster, so next year seems too soon based on what we're hearing from insiders, but also, again, you look at how the Oblivion Remaster was supposed to come out in 22, but that got bumped to the top of 25, so I don't think it's unreasonable to say.
Yeah, you see? Oblivion Remaster was supposed to be at 22, or at the 2... Oh, wait, no, it released at 2025. You see what I mean? That list is pure bullshit, but it cannot be wrong because the data that we're working for is literally just years and games. And there's not a lot of years and there's not a lot of games.
Fallout 3 Remaster at like 2027, 2028 even, maybe. So again, really far down the road. That's the problem here, in my opinion, is I'm very happy to be getting a lot of Fallout. And there's going to be that stretch of time. We're going to get there. I'm going to be like in my 40s. And I'm going to be partying like it was 2008 to 2010. Like, what a stretch. You went from Fallout 3 to Fallout 3's DLC, New Vegas, its DLC. It was a thing of beauty. So if we can recapture that magic, that's one way to win me back. But yeah, again, really deep down the road, even something as simple as a remaster. So that's why I'm saying, like, hey, even a port of the Fallout 1 and 2 games would be really awesome. Tactics, Brotherhood of Steel, like, let's just go crazy with it, man. Let's do a Fallout Classic collection. Let's get limited run involved.
Bro,
like,
no one's doing
this is
tactics.
Money. All right, so now we got to get into the fun one. This is the one that I imagine Jordan and co are talking about here. Fallout New Vegas 2 over at Obsidian Entertainment. So there's a whole track record of comments and things that we got to go through here to really solidify that I think this is the landing spot for Obsidian Entertainment. I mean, first and foremost, you just have to look at the year Obsidian's having right now. The Avowed team has their hands off that project. They're doing some post-launch support for it.
The Avowed team should be finding itself in a waiting room to be deleted.
Look like anything spectacular.
Except my wife, Carrie Patel. Okay, she can stay in my bed all day long.
Spectacular, no announced expansions or like major DLC, at least as of yet. I'd assume it's not doing any of that, but I could be completely incorrect on that. Still, even then, that's not going to be the full development team over there. They do have Grounded 2 entering early access. That's its own team. But then after you have the Outer Worlds 2, I mean, most of Obsidian is free. It's a pretty good time to be starting a new project where the stars
Again, still expecting the Outer Worlds 2 to be a shit show, baby.
I've kind of aligned, as I've illustrated numerous times in videos and podcasts, how there is that opening to sort of hand them a project and be like, hey, all the things you were doing are done. And especially in the case of the Outer Worlds 2, you just look at any of the pre-launch marketing and what they're talking about with role-playing systems, the amount of references.
Yeah, role-playing systems. You can either open a door with force or open a door with a lockpick. Holy shit. Now those are the RPG mechanics I want, okay? Larian! You gotta do this, bro, with your shitty... You know, listen, that was exactly what Baldur's Gate 3 was missing, okay? You gotta take notes from Avowed and all of those idiots.
They've made to New Vegas is insane to me. At the same time, a lot of the systems they're building for the Outer Worlds 2 would be literally perfect for a modern Fallout game, because that is what inspired the Outer Worlds. So you get where I'm going with this? Like, they have a lot of the tools there where they could make a Fallout game barring visual assets.
They already tried. It's called The Outer Worlds 1, and people did not like it a lot.
They could make a Fallout game on a systems level, maybe a little bit quicker than most, since a lot of their tools are well equipped to already provide that first-person and third-person hybrid open RPG experience. Let's keep going a little bit deeper, though. VGC reports Fallout New Vegas 2 is reportedly in very early talks at Microsoft. This is 2022. Speaking on his premium giant bomb show Grub Snacks, VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb claimed that the original developer Obsidian could create a sequel to the classic RPG now that it's under the same roof as license holder Bethesda. Quote, "This is very early, but people have begun to have talks and say these words in sentences, and those words are Obsidian and New Vegas 2, Grubb said. We're talking years and years away, and certainly we're starting to be in that realm, by the way. There's at least an interest and conversations happening about making something like that actually a reality." Grubb added, "A lot of people at Microsoft think that this could work, and there's a lot of interest to make it happen." One such example is a single year later, in 2023, Obsidian boss Fergus Urquhart would love to make another Fallout game. Here's what he had to say. First, he addressed the rumor, "We're not working on Fallout, and we haven't even talked about what it would be," he claimed. Urquhart, who was interviewed in December, suggested Obsidian might be ready to start discussing new projects in late 2023. He says, "Our plate is pretty full with Avowed, Grounded, and Outer Worlds 2. That was still the case, by the way. "I don't know when we're going to start talking about new games, maybe towards the end of next year," he said. "We just have to see what's going on. That's the best way to say it. There's nothing in the plans, nothing on the piece of paper that says that. But I'll stick to what I said. I would love to make another Fallout before I retire. I don't know when that is. I don't have a date of my retirement. It's funny. You can say I'm already 52 or only 52. It's one of those two, depending on the day. My hope is it'll happen, but we'll have to wait and see." And the other thing I just want to throw out there is the Outer Worlds 2 added a radio system. I mean, they're good to go.
Yeah, wow, a radio system. I am so sold, boys. Wow, woo, we gonna go pre-order the Outer Slop 2, boys. Wowie, woo. Yeah, and we watched what the developers had to say about the Outer Worlds 2. It is shit. It is slop. They're literally like, "Look at the guns. We have a confetti gun. We have a cancer gun. We have so many guns. Do you like role playing? Well, fuck you. Here's guns." Oh man, it's gonna be so bad.
Dude, let them make a Fallout game, for God's sakes. Especially when Obsidian has become such an extremely dependable developer underneath the Xbox brand, like arguably next to Playground Games, the most dependable, and certainly out of anyone that Xbox has purchased, the highest in output. I would hand them anything I possibly could that was of value, like the Fallout license, and be like, yeah, you are the chosen one. We need you to make something on this. But the timeline adds up here. He's saying in 2023 that by the end of next year, as in 2024, that they'd be ready to discuss new projects. And that's kind of where this all starts to add up. We hear the rumors about the layoffs. We know about Microsoft moving funds to obviously invest more in AI, but no doubt with some cuts at Xbox, some of that budget's going to be moved to select projects. So you trade something like, hypothetically, ZeniMax Online Studios' next new IP for a Fallout game. Again, very much indie publisher energy here. The trade-off shouldn't exist as far as I'm concerned. So that's why, again, it makes it very awkward to me to be like, fuck yeah. Still, what Fergus says checks out. And then let's go to the hypothetical director, right? Josh Sawyer directed Fallout New Vegas, and he is open to working on the Fallout franchise. This was in 2022, around the time Pentiment was coming out. It says the director of Fallout New Vegas would be open to working on the series again. He says, I love Fallout. I love the setting. I could see myself working on it.
So all of this is effectively just cope, huh? Fallout New Vegas too. So yeah, it seems like it's just cope. It's not even probably happening. Well, maybe it happens again. It's actually a coin toss, okay? I think again, I think Todd Howard really wants to do everything to stop it, but Microsoft really wants to push him and make him be like, "Yay, Fallout New Vegas is here!" I think that's the real situation that's happening here, okay? Because Microsoft's not happy with Bethesda's performance. It's a $8 billion disaster. They're even less happy with Blizzard's performance, but you know, those are different companies, though, at the end of the day. And, well, that's pretty much it. Anyway, that was Mr. Manny Plays, 10 out of 10. Bye.